Yeah, so we have a screen right now, but let me see. Actually want, okay, that's interesting. Nice, I like this. So I think this is what I have on my screen. Yeah. So good evening everyone. So today we're supposed to kick off from where we stopped, but I just want to show us a bit of some things, and that's github.com. Oops. All right, so here is github.com. I think I've mentioned what it is, but I'll just emphasize it. It's a platform that we can use to upload, to store our files. Basically, I have a bit of work that I've been working on for quite a while, and also for collaboration, so it's easier to collaborate. Companies use this a lot. In fact, it amazes you that most of your softwares that are out there, like Facebook, I think Facebook, I don't know about Google, but I know of Facebook. That's Meta. I've seen their repository. I've seen some of their works. Probably not everything. Yes, but yeah, they exist. So and they are here because it's open source. So first of all, this is my own account. We're supposed to go through how to create an account. So basically, you just have to come to this site. Then should I log out? Let me log my account out. Sign out. Oh no, I think I'll do the sign out. My non support. Just want to log out. Okay, actually github.log out. Yeah, so let me just sign out. I don't think I've ever signed out. So normally you are supposed to come to this site, then click the sign up button, right? Then I think the site is a bit you have a lot of stuff on it, so it's going to slow down my system. Nevertheless, let me see. So you can, I think, link this with your Google account directly. So I think it's here. It's supposed to ask me a question, but this site is heavy. What do we do? My network is not as fast as it used to be. Okay, yes, it's talking. So you can see there's a platform that says enter your mail, and do I have a mail I've never used? Okay, yeah, I think I have one. Bounty at gmail.com. Ouch. Just try to read this. Yeah. Oh, email is already taken. Let me see if I have another one. GT keys one at gmail.com. So this is checking through the database. So this is something like, what happened now is a good example of a database. The database was working in SQL. So what happened was immediately I typed the email inside this platform in this box, went straight to the database and checked, okay, does this email exist? So kind of like a query. So if this email exists, write here that the email is existing. If it's not exist, and this button will be grayed out. And if it does not exist, don't put anything here, put continue. So that's an example of what we have, what happens with database. So that's like what we're working with. And create password. I don't want to create password because I don't want to do that. So I think this is just enough to show us around, and just go to the site and click sign in. Of course, it has a lot of things, so don't you can easily get distracted. Mind you, that's just by the way. Though that's the job. That's what it's meant to do. So I'll just drop that, and I think I should drop the link. So I'm just going to drop the link on the page to also. I think that would have given us enough time to, for those that with their system and to hands-on practice, to download the SQL file and load it up. So just going to change the screen that I'm sharing. I wish I can just change. So share Windows. Oh, MySQL. Share and share. It's gonna ask me again. Okay, so let me know what you're seeing on my screen. Drop the link. Yeah, I've dropped the link, Kaibami. Both links. Oh, sorry, just the single link. So I want to encourage us to all down or install sign up for GitHub on GitHub. Use if you have a main email, use it because I feel like it's an official thing, so it's something we can everybody can work with. And then yeah, you might be asked to create a username. I'll get a YouTube video that talks more a bit on that. I don't want to use that. So you might be asked to create a username, so or that you can choose a username that is suitable. You can add your surname and your first name. It depends. If you have a nickname, you can use that. So that's what you're going to be referred with. You're easily found with GitHub. And then I'm going to be sharing. So I already have a repository, although it's private. So even though you check have an idea of how GitHub works, you won't find it because I've restricted access to it. That can happen to companies with a lot. So it's not all everything that's on GitHub. Sometimes it's just there for collaboration. So companies can just work on their ideas without exposing it to general masses. So currently it's private. So I just want to, I want us to have a feel of what it looks like. Then, so when you all have an account, I can add your account. I'll create a Google form. I'll get your emails, and I'll add you to the repository. Then you can see that you can access all the content that are out there. That way we'll get to know see how it works. Although it's going to be a bit stressful, I must not leave out that fact. Because if you're just new to it, you probably feel like what's the essence, what's the need, but it's advantageous to us. So last class I think it was just a bit of what we did. Right. So we created table, right? Um we went from creation of table to we created a new table and we declared our values in them, and we created several tables, right? Not just one table, but we did something interesting. We linked those tables together, and that was using, for instance, if you remember foreign key and primary key. Foreign key is a primary exists in a table where it is a primary key in another table. Yeah, a foreign key is a column existing in a table where it is a primary key in another column. I don't know if that definition flies, but I think yeah, I should. So let me hide this. Now, if you have a question as we proceed, feel free to just drop in because I'm not going to be able to monitor the chat section or you raising up your hands. So just by the way, so here we linked them together using this. So we called it my manager ID a foreign key. We referenced it to this employee ID. Now, I already explained what a foreign key and a primary keys. Of course, the other keys. Probably one of the when we are starting, we'll talk about that. Maybe it's next class or next to class. It's a bit much, but I want us to have a grasp. So we created a company database, right? IDAN class company, where we have 5 tables. If you check on this place, we have 5 tables here. Sorry, let me see what's is this projecting what I'm doing right now? Okay, yes it is. Okay, nice. So we have five tables. We have a table for branch that contains all the list of branch. I think I can use the shortcuts to view everything. So you can see we have just three branches. Then we have supplier. We have select. So this is like a shortcut basically. So we have suppliers. We have two to three. We have suppliers and one, two. I think they're about five or seven thereabouts. We also have clients. We created the clients table. I think we have just okay. Yeah, we have a few. Yeah, I went on to populate them at the end. Yeah, I can remember. Then we also have the employee table, right? And we also have the work with table. That's to show who is working with who and like how the sales they make is the amount of sales, total sales. So now this is just like a very small table just to show the proof of concept. Um, most of the things you are going to be doing with SQL, of course, you can do it. I told you you can do it with Excel, but Excel is not specialized for it. And you want to know how to query from your company database, or if you're a freelancer, any database you're being given to work with. Basically, we are just going to be doing analysis. We're going to be answering just questions from not just questions anyways, because SQL for data analysis is restricted to just probably data analysis. You don't have to work with front end guy or the back end guy. You have nothing, you have no business. Your business is query from the database, using those answers, using those database to answer questions, you know. So here is I already explained what we did. Then we created tables. We altered tables, right? So alter is like we needed to make a change. So alter, there's a similar one that's update, but alter is used. This word is used for modifying your table structure. Sorry. So your alter function or this alter keyword is used to modify your table, the structure of your table. So what we're doing here is we're just modifying, we're not adding anything basically. We're just modifying it. We could actually create a new column, but when you're creating a new column, it means you're also modifying your table structure. The other one is updates. We get to that in a bit, but I just want to show us like brief of last class work. So we created tables, then we inserted values into all the tables. We populated it, right? Insert into Nigerian class. So we populated all the tables just to have values in there. So I've dropped it. You can run that for you. All you need to do is just select everything. You probably want to remove this last one. I will just select just a query anyways. So if you select everything and you run it, it will create all of this database automatically just with a click. Select everything and create it, and you have everything here, right? So after creating that, so we had to do all of that and we checked it. Now we didn't proceed to something else. I was going to change that first. Okay, so that was all we did last week. Oh, sorry, last class. Then for this class, oh sorry, did I select all? No, shouldn't. I want to show the beats. Okay, I'll save that. Yeah, so I have some themes that I want to actually tell us. So we have, yeah, I think I mentioned in one of the classes that SQL is split into four different, like it's just four different things, four different language. So the first one is DQL. What is DQL? DQL is data query language. Okay, I think I should um comment this out. I use a big comment. So I think I already told us about commenting this way, that anything embedded in this is going to be comments. it's not going to run it. So anything you have inside of this SQL is not going to run it. So we just want to do that. So DQL is stands for data query language. So what is data query language? Data query language is basically um things that basically more of like you want to query your language. You want to get information. I explain what query is. You want to retrieve from your database, right? So it has a set of commands, but basically it is used to read and retrieve information without making changes to your database structure. So when you are using DQL, you actually don't make there's no changes made to your database. It's more of like an armless. You are just trying to trying to view the information. You're trying to view what is there. So basically you select. Then we have what we call DDL, right? So DDL is called data um what's it again? I think data definition. Um sorry, DDL, yeah, data definition language. So what is this used for basically? Is basically used to alter your table, your data structure. Sorry, I said data structure, your database, the structure of your database. So when you need to um probably alter your the structure of your database, or you even need to create it, you need to delete something. We are going to be using DDL language. As it's these are all commands. They are the commands are segregated into these four these four groups, these four languages. So of course they are all in one, it's SQL, but it has these different representations. So the DDL is basically from the word definition. You're using it to set define, basically you define the way your table is, your database is basically. So that's when we have create, we have alter. We've used create, alter. We haven't used drop, so I'm going to use drop. So I think I should use drop now. So I have a few database I want to drop. For instance, hijan1. I don't need this. So you can see if I right click here, you can see drop. So this just allow me to drop down to, yeah, drop database ijan. So this is the command to drop it. So if I want to even drop multiples, I can just copy this and come out of here. So because we have created this, okay, let me drop the one with ijan underscore 1. Right, so if I want to drop multiple, I have some other one. I have testing, so let's do testing too. So testing, so I'll select the two and use this. So query completed, so you can see it's gone. So I've dropped the database. Now if I want to drop the table, let's assume, let's say test, I think I have a table in it called attendance. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to do drop, or I'm just use this. So if I right click here, no, I think this should do it. Yeah, drop table, review the SQL. So you're going to see it. So here it says drop table tests attendance. I'm just going to copy. I don't want to execute this. All right. So if I query this, it's going to drop table tests. That's database. Then attendance. So if I run this, yeah, table is gone. So you can see, so that's basically dropping using DDL command. So you are defining it, you are dropping, you are creating, you are altering, right? So that's basically what it is. Then we have DCL. So DCL is called DCL, stamped data control language. So what's data control language? So data control language basically it's more of like access to database permissions. We most of the time not get to work with that because unless you're probably like a um probably like a senior database engineer or senior data analyst that gives work. So you have permission, you have a single permission, and you need to give other people permission. Basically, you're controlling access to that particular database or to a particular table. So there's a company, you're working in a company, your boss is a senior engineer. So you probably have to use these commands in this DCL language to give you um access. So basically, I think commands they use there are grant, revoke, yeah, commands like this. I didn't mention DDL. Okay, I think I mentioned DDL. That's like drop, create, right? Yeah, so we have drop, we have create, we have alter. Then query language, and most and foremost, selects. You're basically selecting. So it's more of like you use selects when you want to create, you want to, sorry, you want to query. Then the last of them is data manipulation language. That's DDL. Sorry, that's data manipulation language. So that's DL. So what this DL is, we have also been using this. So basically, this is used for manipulating your database. So you are manipulating, you need to do something. So that's where inserts, I think we have used this. We've not used this. Updates. We've also not used deletes. So these are commands. So you are deleting, you're updating, you're inserting. So basically, these are the four groups which SQL is actually divided into. So far we have used DDL, right? You've seen how to create, define your database, how your database should look like, basically. Then also, we're probably not going to do DCL, that's granting permissions, revoking. Um, we've got to use a bit of DDL, that's inserting, but we've not used. Did we use updates? Have we tried updates? No, I don't think so. I don't think we've tried update and delete. So I think today's class, we should cover these parts, this DDL. Then the last part of the course will be probably working more with DQL because we're analysts, we are querying, we are supposed to be answering questions. It's very irrespective of the rest. I think DQL is more important to us. So we will be working closely with that, and that will be like the wrap up for the course, and we'll move on to the next course of action. So, okay, do we have any questions? Okay, I will just like no. So, in the absence of none, we are just going to proceed to. So, I said I was going to show us something before we start using all of this. So, we are still working with tables. So, the tables we created last week are still valid. I think I even saw something with this too. So, if you double click on one of this database, it automatically switches to it. So, while we're using company works, so if you try to do, so comment this, QIPs, okay, just leave it like this. So if you try to call something, so let's say select, sorry, select all from this is the database already. I've selected it. So if you say select from branch, so on select from branch, and I put this and I query this, I'm going to get branch. So I'm not going to get that error of, oh, can't find this, can't find this, can't find that, because it has been selected. It's actually the current selected database. Well, if, but like I said, sometimes it's why it's better to work with having to just include the whole thing, right? So it's easier that way. When you're working with just queries, you can copy it and put it somewhere else and still run it. In case you don't get, you're not opportune to select like this, probably do this. So in case you're not opportune to do that, your query that we've written, the query we've written will still work. It's still going to be valid. Take this down. Oh, say where I can make this smaller. Nope. So yes, so let's go back to what we did. So to carry all, so while we finished creating some things last week, I was able to, sorry, someone is trying to join. Just 1 second. Okay, so while we worked on this, we finished creating our table and doing a lot of things. There was this database schema that I showed us on Cargo, right? And I feel like we should be able to generate our own because we have linked all our tables together basically. So you can do that by database, yes, database, reverse engineer. So that's how you do that. So when you do reverse engineer, unfortunately, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. That person is trying to join. Uh, hold on. How do I get there? Okay. Okay, I thought Pear was in this class. Oh, okay, understand. So here is the so yes, I said database. So when you click reverse engineer, it brings you a couple of commands, and when you run that, all you have to do is finish, select everything, and you should have something like this. Something like this. I don't know if you all can see this. So this is more of like our own DB diagram, right? And it has, I think I drew something last week, I can't remember where I was drawing it, but you find out that the top of this actually are labeled with the table name. Then what you have here inside is the column name. Then you have the type, and you have connections. These connections have been created because of what we did, we referencing that we were using. So we link this up together. So you can see that, yeah, if you, by the time you run yours, it might not be as arranged as this. I had to do this myself personally. So I just moved some things. I think I brought this here because it was connected with just two. So I brought it to this edge. Then this two also was connected with two, as I brought it to this edge. I think this one was connected to one. So the one that has the most connections is probably the one that's supposed to be in the middle. That's the employee, right? So if you, can I zoom out? Okay, can zoom in. So you can see they're all connected, and if you highlight, if you just take your cursor on the line, the connecting line, you can see that the link between them is identified easily. You can see the branch ID is connected to the branch ID. Then I think, yeah, sorry, someone is trying to join again. Okay, that's Pearl again. Pearl, you have like 3 accounts on this call. Okay, so let me go back to where I was. So if you just put your cursor on it, you're going to see it highlighted and it will pick out the ones that are connected. So that way you can easily see that, oh, okay, this is connected to this with the branch ID, this is connected to this with the employee ID, this is connected to this. This has two connections, right? It's connected to the branch ID here and it's also connected to the client ID. Then this is connected. Now we have this. Yes, this is like the super ID is connected to the employee ID. Then there's, I think this is a repetition. This is branch ID with branch ID. This is also branch ID with branch ID. Probably run it twice. Probably that's why we have that. But yeah, then the manager ID is connected to the employee ID because the manager than an employee in the company. So these are just what we were able to achieve. So I think I can export this. Yeah, I think to export there should be a way to export this. Yes. So yeah, I think you can just use the command. Let me see. Um export. So it's not viewing for the rest. uh okay, I think I'll figure this out. Though I think those watching the recording will see it, but for the purpose of the call I need to share that screen. So I will have to stop this presentation and create a new presentation. Sorry, thought I'd figured it out. I don't know why it has to be like this. It's the entire screen. Share, 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 share. So my screen is visible and I have this repetition again. Don't want this. So I need to confirm that my software is viewing. Okay, it's recording just what I have. Let me go to as it's workbench. So I need to be sure it's viewing workbench. No, it's not displaying workbench. Let me see. Okay, yeah, this is displaying it. So I think I said if you want to export, you can just come here. So can everyone see it now? Those are the call. Can you see what I'm saying? Because I felt like you wouldn't have been able to see it. You should be able to see it now. Okay, Olaya, yes, thank you. So yeah, you'll be able to export, click export, then you can export it as a script, right? Then you can also export it as a PDF or a PNG file. So let's do PNG. So just probably going to save it in where I have uh files. Then I'll name it ijan, sorry, ijan database. Yes. So I'll save this, and yeah, that should be it. And also if you want to generate it as export it as SQL scripts, so it's an SQL create script that I think to create the scripts you can just choose how to output the scripts, all the things that needs to be there, but I think this is just better to just do it that way. So here we have it, and yeah, so that's what we did last week. Basically everything, you can see how it's summed up and how they are connected, and you can see the tables here. The table is back here, and this is the script. So now let's do some adjustments. We want to use updates. We've used inserts. We haven't used updates. I already showed us how to use drop. That's the drop command. Then we haven't used update and delete. So update is basically, like I said, is a DDL command that you can use to update, basically used to manipulating the contents of your table, of your database. DDL is used for altering the structure. That's drop, create, alter. If I drop a table now, it's going to drop it. It's just going to drop that table. Now, if I should delete is going to delete rows in that table. So delete is not going to drop the table, like I said, because it can't alter the structure, but it can alter the contents of the data. So let's do something. So let's say from select, okay, start with delete. So sorry. So you want to delete something, right? So let's say we want to work with which table do we have a lot of that is populated a lot. I think we have the branch. I think we have a lot of employees, right? We have a bit of a number of employees. We have 8 employees. So let's pick Josh. Josh is 106. So let me go back to class 2. So I'm going to say delete. What do I want to delete? Delete employee. So I'm supposed to use ijan class component dot employee. I prefer working like this. Now this alone will delete the entire rows. For instance, I don't say where what's the column in employee. Okay, let's just do this straight so I can have it easily. So I'm just going to describe or basically let me just select. So select all. It's from, let me put space so it's going to come up. Yeah, so select all from um this and use this to run this. So yeah, I have this now. Okay, so I want to delete. So delete this employee where, so is employee ID where employee underscore ID equals what? Equals Josh. That's Josh. And what's Josh ID? Josh ID is 106. So let's assume Josh is leaving the company, right? Yeah, so let's run this. Sorry, could interrupted. What am I missing? Uh, I have an error in my SQL. What's it saying? Where response, you have an error code. Check the manual where employee ID is equals to. I'm currently on this, so I should probably not. So this should, okay, so I have the same error. You're saying what's the issue? Where the employee ID. Okay, I think I did a bit of sampling wherever I wrote it down. So delete with where okay, so actually I have that to guide me through because I make mistakes sometimes. I don't know, delete ijan dot company where employee ID. Okay, this is where the issue is. So let me just take this out, right? I think since we have all our employee data, we can run this. Since we still have the script up here, right? We can just easily run it and populate it back. Or rather than doing that, I think let me use the one that has less. So I think that will be branch. Or better still, let's use one of these test database. That's us. Oh, we won't be able to run it because we don't have a database. Okay, so let's just let me close this back and use I think we have branch. When we check the ER diagram, which one is less populated? Okay, branch supplier. So let's use branch supplier. So we can take risks with it. It's not going to stress us. Branch underscore supplier. So yeah, I'm just going to run this and screen not delete. You have an error in your SQL. Check the manual. The right syntax to use near at. Why is delete not working? Okay, let me just. So one thing I can do is check this. So since I can't find, so yeah, I can just go to the AI tool I was talking about, ChatGPT. So I currently have an account, so I can just do this, and I can say, okay, I think I can open it here. Chat. I don't know if all of us, any of us, have an account using it. OpenAI.com. Oh, I use it a lot. I still use. I was working with it throughout today because it makes my work faster. And this is taking beats. Okay. So while that is going on, deletes. It's supposed to delete the old rows. It's just as simple as that. Deletes this, and this. So it's going to delete it. Then what we have to do is probably when you have a where function. So a where function will not, a where command will like filter what you want to delete. Like, okay, I don't want to delete the whole rows, just delete a specific part for me. And using this, you select the parts that you want to delete. So if it's just the ID, or let's say a particular row, like I was trying to demonstrate, um, yeah, if it's just this particular row, let's say we're trying to delete Josh has left the company and we need to take him out. Of course, there'll probably be another way, but let's say for some reasons it has not been updated on our database, and so all you can do is just, okay, where is it? From deletes from the employee tab, go ahead to delete it. So before you make your questions, then where employee underscore ID, sorry, equals 106. Yeah, so basically, and you do this and it's going to delete it out, but it's not deleting. My company is not back yet. So now there's also updates, right? Updates. So updates is basically you want to update, um maybe a particular thing has changed. For instance, let's say salary is something that could change easily. You can't change your date of death. Maybe, okay, date of birth maybe can be a mistake when it was imputed, so you can adjust it, yes. um but let's assume salary is what we want to change. So we are going to use the term updates, sorry. So updates also works like deletes. So this time around you are just updating something. So what you're updating is from a, I hope this one works because I've run it today. So you update, let me see, is it back yet? Okay, it's back. Okay, let's just go right first. So when you want to update, you update a particular, you pick your table, right? No, I think is update sets. Let me check my notepad. Add it to my notepad. Okay, update. So let me pick this and maybe here. So basically you're supposed to update the table, yes, then you use sets. So set is you want to, what you want to actually change, the value that you are changing. So for instance, in our case here we are changing salary, and salary is let's say we want to change Kelly's salary. Kelly's ID is 104. So we want to change Kelly's salary from 55,000 to 60,000. So all you have to do is set salary. Okay, I think I've figured out what might have gone wrong with that code. So you set the salary to be equals to 60,000. So 60,000. So you now want to indicate that, oh, the value that I want to change for is Kelly's salary. So which is why you have to use this. It's more of like a filter, the where command. So where Kelly, sorry, where employee ID equals to Kelly, that's 104. Yes. So it's a Kimi error. I'm having the same thing. 104. Yeah, I've checked the manual. We employee client 2. Um, okay, I'm actually seeing it from here. So update table set salary equals to, okay, let me just do, that would work. Okay, so since we're having this, so one thing, it's good that we're having this, so we can just show you how to debug faster. So to debug it, we have written the commands already, but we are just having a bit of, don't know where the thing is. So all you can do is just take this and copy it. Then you come to the tool. So okay, I don't want to go into much. Let me just show us what we need to do and get out of here. So I'm just going to write help me debug um sorry debug this code, then we place the code down here and you should get response. So this should give us our response. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so question is, I have a database. I want to update. Okay, so I think my network is just bad. I don't know how I'm still on this call anyways. I'm following up at kilobyte per second. That's very bad. So I don't know, but while that is working, let me see if I can check it myself. I still run this. So you update the employee. That's a table. Okay, wait. I think I've selected table. So I think let me try and lose this and see. Of course, I'm still having this. Okay, let me see. Should I put this here? No, it's not different. Select the error code is. Can I copy this? No, I cannot. So there's another thing. If you can copy it, you can easily. Okay, you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to my SQL version for the right syntax to use near salary. Okay, so I think it's an issue with this particular one. I think those that are running Postgres will try it and see if it's going to work. But basically, I just wanted to show us deleting and updating. The updates is simply just supposed to update a particular part of the code. Like, sorry, I said code. A particular row in your database, a particular data point, a chosen one. And if you don't use the set filter, the where filter to filter which you want to particularly set for, it's going to set for everything. So, um, looking at the employee table that we have, where we are trying to change um the salary for just the employee ID. If you're not careful, it's going to run for all if you don't set the where filter to choose the particular employee ID you want to set for, you want to change the value for, you want to update the value for, it's going to set for everything. The updates is just to change a particular function. While I already differentiated it from the drop. The drop is a a DDL command that's just basically for changing, altering your um altering your database structure. So I just wanted to work with, the plan today was to just go through the data manipulation language, that's DL, and next class we'll go properly into the query languages, the functions, the commands. We'll do a bit of advanced, do a bit of analysis, and we end the class. So here it is. So I'm just going to try a bit of things. I really don't know why it's like this. So let me try this. Um, hide. Let's see this. Truncate incorrectly. Double value. Okay, so employee ID truncated correctly. Double value. So employee ID, it's, so let me use this. Let me see if it work with this. And let me run this. Okay, that worked. Finally. So let me check the employee table now. That's select all from here. Just use this. Okay, I can run it straight from here. So let me just run it. Now we try to change employee ID 104. So employee ID 104, that's Kelly. So were we able to change Kelly's salary to 6,000? 60,000? No, it did not change. Let me see updates where employee ID is cost 104. Okay, let me change the, instead of using employee ID, let me use first name. So she's the only one. So first name equals to Kelly. And around this. Okay, that worked. Then come back here to check it out. And Kelly, why is Kelly not changing to 6,000? So space, there's a lot of output here. The screen is so small. I can't take in everything. Okay, I can just filter for this instead of showing everything. So I can just say where, sorry, where first name equals to Kelly. Sorry, first name equals Kelly. So let me select this. So rather it's going to be, oh, let me put this like this. Okay, yeah, I'm getting Kelly. So I think I should just remove this here and do this. Oh, oh, I see it now. I see it. You are using update safe mode. So I don't know if you can see the error. It's saying I'm using safe mode, safe update mode, and I've tried to update a table without, okay, without a where clause that uses a key column. To disable safe mode, I have to go to preferences, SQL connects, but I shouldn't have this error. You try to update a table without a where that uses a key column. Without a where, my where is using a key column. What does this mean? Dates. Okay, I could say employee dots. Let me see if this will work. Okay, I think it's still the safe mode. So let me just disable it. Preference SQL connector, and so I think the preference should be here. Yes. So in case you're also experiencing this, so preference, it says SQL, this editor. Let me just check again. I'm using preference SQL editor and reconnect. So I'm just going to make that change. So SQL editor, and what I'm looking for is safe updates. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm going to save that. Okay, and reconnect. So I think, okay, my SQL workbench is not responding. Oh my god. Okay, so my still landing. So basically, I'm supposed to. The reason why it was not working, or one of the reasons why I think I finally got it was not working, or later did not work, because I have safe updates running. Oh, system master. So I had safe update running, and what that will do is it will not allow me to actually save or to update my table basically. Guys, okay, I just have to reconnect. Surprised my screen is still on. Okay, so if you can still hear me, the basically that's what update is supposed to do, and I wanted to walk us through um trying to update using different combinations, because there are multiple ways you can actually update your table, basically even delete. So I was planning to experiment with updates. um you can actually use, and most of the time you're going to be using it with the where command. So you're just going to be using the where command to apply um multiple updates to your table. So you can actually use, for instance now, um maybe I need to update. There's a recent change that if you are probably in this particular age bracket, your you need to use your salary will probably increase. You're in this age bracket and you're a female, so you can actually use that. Probably had two arguments that says, oh, where, okay, my screen is back. I have to start it over. Okay, spell workbench. So you can probably just say where the date of birth is below so year or above so year, and the gender is a female. What do you want to do? Okay, obvious. So what we are trying to say is just basically if you need to just update some things based on some other things, you can use the where filter. You can even apply multiple set statements, right? For instance, maybe uh the employee. Okay, we've been using employee now. Let's use clients. So right, come to clients, and I just use this straight up. So let's say the client's ID, or the client is no longer in social branch now. For instance, the client is no longer in branch 2. Let's say the first client, that's client 400, is no longer in branch 2, probably has gone to a new branch 4. You probably need to use the client ID to change this. Let me see. Brand supplier. Brand supplier just two. Okay, yeah. So for instance, now the branch in the branch table where you have the manager start date. Of course, you don't want to change the manager start date and start date, but let's assume there's a reason to change it, right? You can okay, let's say a new branch is being created, and um you need to migrate some things. So you can just select okay with the branch ID and probably the branch manager, or the branch name and the branch manager ID, change the branch start dates or the manager start date to maybe 2000 and let's say 2020 or 2020 23 we have. So that's basically what you can do with the where statement. So here is what we're trying to do. So I think the settings we did should have been corrected. So let's check this. So I have Kelly Kapoor, and I'm going to try to do this. Query interrupted. Still not. I can see there's an error already. So there's a query. Oh, safe mode. I guess it didn't work. So this will not going to allow me to connect. I think closing this, doing that settings on my system is exclosing my system. It actually shuts down my system actually. Though I think it's just because I had a lot of things running. That was why. So I don't want to do that again. So I'll probably just do it and when my system is less free. So basically, but that's what we are supposed to do. So you're supposed to update. You set your salary, then you use the where to pick where you want to. So in this situation now where we have a lot of things, I'm just going to remove Kelly and use this. So where um we have employee first name, last name, birth name. So let's assume that we want to update the employee table, right? We want to change um the branch ID. So there's a employee that is changing branch, and probably our salary is going to change, so that it's a female. So let's say 101, that's Jan Levinson. So we could say select update employee. We want to set our salary to, she's currently earning 110,000, so let's give her an upgrade to 130,000. Then also, not just her salary, she's going to be changing branch. So our branch, sorry, our branch is going to change to, let's say there's a new current branch, that's 4. She's going to add a new branch. Then where employee's first name is Kelly, so our first name is no longer Kelly, first name is now Jan. So this, so when our first name is Jan, yeah, it's going to update this based, it's going to update the salary and branch ID based on this, based on our name. Now if it's a situation where you have multiple, let me see, do I have multiple entries with the same name? No. Okay, now let's assume that we have um so let's say we want to check if she's a female. Yeah, the upgrade is for a female, so let's assume there are multiple Jans. So we can say where employee dot first name is equals to Jan, and I hope you still remember hand from Excel. So and employee dot um what's it called, sex equals to what, sorry, equals to female. So it's specifically for female, sorry, I didn't close it. So specifically for female, so this is going to change a first name. So if you even decide to use a brand, a ID, right, it's even safer to use a ID because you can have multiple sex. So a ID is going to be 101. So that will be ID, right? That will be employee, no, sorry, EMP underscore ID equals to what? 101. So using the AND, we're actually going to check for where um the employee ID is 101, right? So to check here 101, and the sex is female. So if it's not female, it won't run. This won't be true. So if this is true, then this will run for this table. That's the way it works. And if this is not set, what will happen in this table is that to set all the salary and branch ID to 4. So all the salary on this row will change to 130,000, and the branch IDs will change to 4 automatically. But that's why we need to set the where clause. And there's beyond hand. It might be that you just want to um you want to probably for all the males, or should we do all the males? Okay, should we do males? Okay, let's say for all the males you want to um change, should we change their salary? Okay, let's change their ID, their branch. Let's move them to another branch, right? For all the males, so we can say for select, so I'm just going to select employee, sets. So you want to set their ID, their branch ID. So use branch underscore ID equals to 4. So they're all going to stay under Jan Levinson in our branch. We're moving all of them. Then where employee dot sex, of course that's not valid, but where employee dot sex equals to male. Now if you had this command or, means that it's either they are male, or we want to say their branch IDs is currently 2, so we want to only move. So this will mean that we are moving for, if your branch ID is 2 or male. So this is what is going to do now. This one is going to change, is going to move the employee with male, or employee with branch ID 2 to branch ID 4. That's what this is going to actually do if you run this. Sorry, I didn't hit close it. That's what this will do. So it's just basically, so just to demonstrate using the or, so it means that you can join multiple um multiple commands. You can even extend this. Same with this, you can say where this and this, can decide to add extra depending on what you're trying to do, and right, then also with this or basically all the functions that we used in Excel, that was when we're dealing with this, that's greater than, comma, lesser than, greater greater than or equals to, then less than or equals to, what else, and and or, yes, and I think we did one more, that's not equals to. So this is actually not equals to. So if you use this, use these commands in this place where you have your where filter, it's going to work. That's like, let's say, transferring knowledge from Excel to SQL. So all this is actually going to work from, so bringing it to this. So if I should apply it here, like I said, it just depends on what you want to do, the exact thing you want to run. Let's come into this call. uh, okay, so the exact thing that you actually want to run depends on the use case. But like I said earlier, the possibilities are endless. Whatever you want to do is possible. All you have to know is know the right commands, or and knowing the basic commands or the syntax for it is just a step ahead. It means that even when you are trying to check for your errors, for the bug somewhere else, and you get something and it's not familiar, you know that, oh, okay, this is not, you know how to structure it. That's the essence of knowing the syntax, how it works, how some of this just basically operates, how to select table, how to deal with table, how to not do what you're not supposed to do. So basically, that's just the essence of knowing your syntax. So, and I think with that, that should be like covering inserts. Like I said, we've done inserts earlier. That's inserting into, that's filling up your branch, your database, your table with values. I think I covered the parts where you could use let me see, in a situation um where you have your table. Let's say you have incomplete data. For instance, now in the employee, we have employee ID, first name, last name, birth name, sex, salary, super ID, and branch ID. Let's say we are inserting something, and so let's say insert values, sorry, insert into, and just take this and edit it. It's going to be faster that way. So let's say we want to insert into these values, but we don't have all of these details, all the details. As we don't have the first name, we don't have the, maybe we don't have the last name, we have only the first name. We don't have the sex, we don't know the sex, we don't know the salary, right? There's some details we don't know. Now the ways to figure out is you have to declare the columns that you're filling out for. If you just do it like this, it's going to automatically assign 104, like automatically assign this to the first, assign Kelly to the first name, assign this to the last name, and so forth. But when you have incomplete data, like let's say Kelly, so there isn't a Nigerian dash Shegun, let's say Shegun, there is like 110, Shegun Kapoor, we don't know his surname, don't know his sex, and we don't know his salary. Now in this situation, now you need to declare where you want these values to be in. So, and to do that, you have to call this, you have to add this. So here you will be permitted to indicate, okay, I want it at employee ID, comma, then Shegun will be in first name, then the birthday, we know his birth, it's actually date of birth. Then we know, do we know his sex? No. Do we know his salary? No. Do we know his super ID? Yes. We know his super ID. And we know his branch ID. Yeah. So this will permit you to insert this into this specific um this specific or identified columns. So the rest is just probably going to be not null. So let's check employee. Make sure have it here. So if I go up to check employee, here is Shegun. Shegun is here. You can see him at the last place, 110. Shegun is having a first name. His last name is not there. His birth name is not there. His sex is empty. His salary is empty. But we have his super ID and we have his branch ID. So that's basically it for updates. And so you can also have defaults, right? So that if it's empty, that's here. When we were creating the employee table, so here is where we created the employee table. So you can set defaults, but I won't be able to do that. Okay, I think I know what to do. So you can set a default. So let me copy this and just tweak it a bit. I'm going to change some things, just empty. Okay, leave it as it is. Then I'm just going to change the employee name, employee table. So I'm creating a new one. Now, if I that means if there's no inputs, right, I can just say set my defaults, sorry, defaults. So the default value, right, is going to be identified here. So let's say, okay, let me put it for sex. Okay, let me say sex. I'm just going to put unavailable, not available, right? Yeah, so if there's a default and if there's no sex, it's going to just put it to not available. Let's do that for um so we didn't have the sex for him, we didn't have his last name. What else do we do? Let's put it in the primary key. Then where else? Did you have a salary? No, we didn't have a salary. So let's put it here. So you could also change it. You could just put 0 sometimes. Just want to put 0. So it's going to be 0. So for instance, name can be not available. Employee ID can be not known. Not known. That will be known. Yeah, so let me create this. Okay, query interrupted. I kind of expected something. I think the employee ID not known. Let's see. Okay, let me remove this. Could it be as a result of this 0? Okay, I can't create the table. There's another error. So it said invalid default value for sex. So why is it raising for sex? Okay, created successfully for last name. Why didn't it create? Oh, okay. Sorry. The variable character for sex is just 1, right? So it couldn't have used not available. Not available is lengthy. That was what happened. So not available. Let me see. What should I reduce it to? Let's just put n. Yeah. So if I should create, if I do this automatically, it won't work. So let me just drop it. Drop. Sorry. Cancel. Drop table. Drop now. Then run this again. What to do is employee ID. Oh, employee ID is integer, so this will not work. What did you say again? Not available. What's the response? Last variable character not available. Last name. What's going on? Sorry. You have an error in your SQL. Check the manual. What's it saying? First name character, last name character. think I've made a mistake somewhere. Outline 2 here. Oh yes, I didn't put the defaults. That's how stressful this thing can be. Yeah, it has created successfully. So if you check it now, so if I try to check refresh all, so the table is now here, right? So let's impute something into it. So let's just use what we have here. Insert and insert into agent class company. The employee table has changed to 111. So we have the employee ID, we have his first name, we don't have his last name. So his date of birth, we have that. We have his super ID and we have his branch ID. So let me see. I already set the default for sex to be no. Yes, okay, good. So let's run this. So if I should run this and let's view this, and just copy this one and change this to 111 and run this. Now look at what has happened. So it has automatically filled not available for last name, and for sex that's like saying no or not known basically. Then the salary is 0 because it didn't come in. So that's like handling errors basically, like handling missing values, sorry. So when you have a missing value or the input is not there, you can just use this to automatically fill it in. The reason is that sometimes you might have some companies that the job poster they will put the job description, they will tell you write SQL, they want a data analyst that can write SQL, good with Power BI and Excel. And when you get in at the end of the day, you might be the one to, maybe it's a startup is just starting, you might be the one to actually set up the database. So if you are going to be the one to set up the database, you have to know all of this. So like most of the time, that's why we need to understand some of how this works. If it's a standard company, yeah, I don't think you have any business doing all of this. But you still need to understand just to show that you understand. You should be able to create a database in however you want it, in any way you want to do it. So that's why we're actually going through this process. I don't think others will go through this process, but I just had to feel like okay, we have to go through this in case there's a situation where you need to work with databases, and with this you are good to go and you'll be able to initialize your own database, set it however you want, and do values, insert values in the way desired values. So that's where this can actually come handy, this handling non-values. I think we did it in Excel. That's I think validation, yes. So where you actually have to validate your data and be sure that okay, this is what I want to have it. So these are ways of controlling your data. And I think we can stop here for today. So I think we have covered, we're unable to run this because of my stem, but we have covered so far so good. We have covered DDL properly. That's drop, create, alter. You're not going to be touching this here. I mentioned that already. And also DDL. Sorry, this is supposed to be DML. So and DML is insert, updates, and deletes. So this is just the process. Now it can the syntax might change depending on the SQL we are working with, right? But this is the idea still remains the same. So I think we have covered this part, we have covered this part, and the DQL is the last part that we're going to be covering, which is going to be like the main parts.